Tonight on News 5 Live, Prime Minister Briceño is back from Mexico and weighs in on Belize's energy crisis. The Minister of Border Security addresses the ramping up of BDF presence in the north. And the Senate inquiry resumes with developer David Gegg making an appearance. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
$2,251,000 slices of watermelon are eaten by tourists each year in Belize, benefiting local farmers and processors directly. Tourism means business.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Littleville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
This Mother's Day, give that special mom in your life the gift of rebirth by renovating and redefining that special space. With some help from Brother Sabet, you can turn any room into mom's special place. That's why we're offering the mother load of discounts all month with 15 to 30% off all things Moen, 20% off Penta Decon paint, and 25% off Valspar and Dutch Boy paints. 15% off Sunlight windows and doors, 20% off mirrors and Eureka vats, and much more deals on our clearance display. So this Mother's Day, give mom the gift she truly deserves from Brother Sabet. Come in or reach out to us today. Happy Mother's Day to all the super moms out there.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, May 8th. I am Sabrina Daly. Prime Minister John Briceño met with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on Tuesday, when several issues were discussed. One of the priority topics during their meeting was the supply of power by CFE Mexico to Belize. As Belizeans are aware, the Belize Electricity Limited has had to undertake numerous load-shedding exercises because CFE has indicated that it is unable to supply Belize during its peak hours. This has left many Belizeans across the country in darkness for scheduled periods. According to Prime Minister Briceño, he was in Mexico on a medical trip with his wife when he reached out to the president's office to get a phone call with him. The president's office arranged for them to meet, and a discussion was had about what can be done to address Belize's energy crisis. We asked PM Briceño about that meeting when we caught up with him this afternoon in Corozal.
Well, first of all, I went on a private visit to Mexico. But whilst when I was on my way, I figured maybe I try to get a hold of him to the president. We get along very well, and hoping to see if he can help us to stop the load shedding in Belize. But I think that Mr. Mencias rightly pointed out, this is something that the seed was planted 10 years ago, and the previous government did nothing. We have been doing something. We have managed to convince the Saudis to lend us $72 million to do a 60 megawatt solar plant. But this is not something that, okay, it's here $72 million, nobody gives that US. There's a whole process we have to go. It's a huge bureaucracy that the Saudis have. And so we have been working with them and one of the Saudi company that will be able to come in to build the first 20. What Mr. Mencias explained to us, he says, listen, the grid as it is can't hold a 60 megawatt plant all in one spot. So we need to break it up in 320 megawatts plants. So the first one is going to be built by Bomba. And from what the reports I got, we expect that that's supposed to be commissioned by July, August of next year. We have been working with the World Bank. We were borrowing, I think, about $100 million to be able to set up a battery bank. And what's a battery bank? Well, what is it? Is that with this battery bank, that there are certain times when CFE's energy goes to 2-3 cents a kilowatt, like around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning when there's not hardly any use for this energy. So we could buy at 2 or 3 cents, store it in these battery banks, and then put it on into the grid or sell it onto the grid with our hopes to be able to, if not maintain the price, at least to maintain the price, or hopefully with time to be able to reduce the price.
According to Prime Minister John Briceño, a meeting is scheduled for Saturday in Cancun. There, he, along with representatives from the Belize Electricity Limited, will meet with the Mexican president and CFE representatives. PM Briceño further explained that an opportunity now exists for potential investors to supply the country with energy. Here's what he told us.
We just set up the RFP process. The RFP process is the RFP procurement process now. With that now in place, it has been accepted by the PUC, by BEL, and also by the MCC, the Millennium Challenge Corporation. The Millennium Challenge Corporation, remember, they're giving us a grant of $125 million. And of that, 20% of that $125 million will be invested in energy, in improving the technology, improving the grid. And a part of that is we're going to use a part of that money to help us to finance the battery storage bank that we're working on. Now that RFP process has been now approved by the cabinet. Now that is in place, now anybody that has a good business plan that can show that they have access to the technology and that can show access they have access to the funding, they can come in and put their bid to be able to produce energy for the plant. But what has happened over the years, you have a lot of people that come and say, okay, I want to provide X amount of energy, give me a contract. You give them a contract, then with that they could go, any one of you could get a contract. You get a contract, you go to the bank is going to lend you money because it is sure money. We don't want people that are going to speculate. With the president, what I can say at this moment is that we had a successful meeting. I think we had about a 2-hour meeting. And what he is doing for Belize is that he will be in Cancun on Saturday. And the head of the CFE will be in Cancun because he every 2 weeks he comes, the president, to take a first-hand look at the work with Tren Maya. And so he'll be here on Friday and Saturday, 5 o'clock. He'll be arriving in Cancun and having a meeting with all the ski technical people. He'll be arranging a meeting with me, and I've already invited BL to join me to meet with the people from CFE to see what we can do to be able to cut out the rollouts or the blackouts.
The Belize Defense Force has ramped up its presence along the Rio Hondo River to ward off cartel elements operating along Mexico's southern border. The Belize Police Department is heading this operation. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa and Minister of National Defense and Border Security Florencio Marin Jr. recently conducted a tour of the security sites along the river. Earlier today, we spoke with Minister Marin, who told us more about that visit.
Well, you know, it's been in the news some time with the increase of narco activity in the southern Mexican border, that we are concerned of it spilling on the Belize side. And hence the Prime Minister directed us to be able to work together. Of course, this is law enforcement, so it's a police-led operation. It's under Minister Musa's ministry. But it helps us to get a good perspective of what's happening on the ground, the challenges the policemen and the soldiers they face to be able to do their work effectively.
What level of support or what role does the Belize Defense Force play in these joint ventures?
Well, of course, the Belize Defense Forces are experts in patrolling, and they also have sea training, riverine training. So they bring that to the table to give that support. They give firefight support if it is needed, and thankfully it is not needed today.
And if there are any questions of whether cartel elements have infiltrated the rank and file of the Belize Defense Force, Minister Marin says he has received no credible reports of such. He says that if any information arises, the matter will be dealt with swiftly. Furthermore, he noted that the BDF undertakes certain measures to prevent such occurrences.
So far, I have not heard any such credible report. One of the things that we do is, that's why the military is always changing around the personnel, moving them from different bases to be able to bring some integrity to their work. But as well, if anything is to happen, but clearly we would like to know, so we'll be able to address it.
How open is Cabinet and your government to ensuring that they have all they need?
Cabinet is extremely supportive. It is the Prime Minister who told us to make sure we safeguard the citizens up north with where we are right now, because if they put a foothold, well, then you know we're going to be in some problems. No? So it's full support from the Cabinet and the Prime Minister.
How confident are you that we are able to hold at bay any potential or real threat?
It's an international team effort. We are in contact with our Mexican counterparts, and they as well, because it's affecting them, so they are putting in the proper safeguards. As you can see that on the civilian side, it affects business in Chetumal. They don't want that. They want to be able to assure us, the Belizean people, that we can continue to go to Chetumal and move around freely. So they are doing their part, and we do their part. And usually, when the work goes together, no, I mean, we're able to hold it down, no.
And during his trip to Mexico, Prime Minister John Briceño also spoke with President López Obrador about border security issues, specifically the reported increase of cartel activities in southern Mexico. He told us how those discussions went, but also noted that the fight is not new to Belize. He says Belize has been tackling these border security issues in the north from day one.
We spoke about many issues, but certainly the issue of the threats from the cartel in Mexico is nothing new for us. We have been dealing with this. When I met Secretary of State Blinken, Secretary of Homeland Mayorkas, the deputy deputy head of the CIA, and all of the officials in the American government, my message has been to them that we need help now. That if we do not get help now, 10 years from now, we could have a totally different Belize. We have to do everything possible to keep out the organized crime from Mexico, or as we refer to them as the cartels. We do not have the money, we do not have the ruthlessness that they have. So I've been working on it. And what is so ironic to me is that the leader of the opposition to dare to criticize the government. I remember last year, I think it was in August, when we did a supplementary budget for about $1 million to help us boost our presence here in the north. He was one of them who was criticizing us that here we're coming voting for more money, and now he's saying that we're not spending enough. So I think he needs to get his act together. The point is that we have been fighting this from day one. And we're working on plans, but this is not something that you could invite the NGO community and you invite the media and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is national security.
PM Briceño also confirmed that the travel advisory to Chetumal issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been lifted. The Prime Minister says there is no need for Belizeans to get too flustered over the reports of increased cartel activities in Chetumal. He further stated that Cabinet has also approved plans to make it easier for Mexicans to enter Belize.
I don't think we need to get too excited. Concerned, of course we have to be concerned. But when I spoke to the President, he said what he has done, he has immediately sent in help from the federal police that have come in and that everything have been settled down, and he expects to be able to keep pressing on them to ensure that Chetumal can once again be looked at as a peaceful city. All of us love to go to Chetumal. All of us want to go, watch a movie, some people to shop or whatever it is, and we look forward to that. But at the same time, when I spoke to him, that what we have done, the Cabinet has made decisions to make it easier for Mexicans to visit Belize. So at the border pass, we're going to be providing the border pass for them for free. We're going to remove the border tax that they charge. We're going to allow them to use their insurance, their vehicle insurance from Mexico to be able to come into Belize. All of this to be able to increase more tourism, Mexican tourism into Belize. So we had a very fruitful meeting.
And the travel alert that was issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs?
Unfortunately, it has been removed. I think we reacted too quickly, too hastily. We should not have done that at that time. But what we did is that when it was brought to attention, they brought it down immediately.
Coming up, the Senate inquiry resumes and David Gegg makes an appearance.
Has been paying him off, right? Why? People say because Diddy got stuff moving in and out of Belize, and because Shine is an opposition leader and Diddy's trying to finance him to be prime minister because he wants to make sure everybody looks the other way. What goes on in Belize? Why does he have a house in Belize that he rarely talks about, is not publicly advertised, but so much goes on? And why does nobody talk about it? Why does nobody talk about the bank deposits, the money? Oh, there's lots of money.
Why is UDP General Juliet Timbrell asking for an FIU investigation? Millions into a New York account? Millions moving into Belize? Bigger scandal than Liv Derman? One thing we know, Juliet knows where all the UDP bodies are buried. Shine Barrow, the people want to know, what is Juliet talking about?
Well, baby, if your name is Shine, people are calling you to the front of the congregation.
Man, Ever since everybody heard the next big thing there, the excitement can't done. Everyone wants to know more.
More?
Yes, please. I tell them, say hello to unlimited data, only with Digi. You can now enjoy unlimited data with Digi's postpaid plans, like the Plus plan, which just got cheaper, I might add. The Elite and Max plans also have unlimited data. You can have from 5 to 7 people on your shared plan, with all having unlimited data 24/7. I tell you, big things. If you're not signed up already, I suggest you sign up now. Make the switch to Digi. The next big thing there, go sign up for your unlimited data. Unlimited is unlimited. Never worry about data again.
Warring cartels, narco activity, cartels, every zone doesn't have narco activity occurring. The Compo acknowledge that there are operatives in the country.
We know that we do have operatives in Belize who are on the side of the cartels. We know that.
Tell you that high officials in the People's United Party are responsible for the narco infiltration in the north.
Is to make sure that we target those persons who we believe are operating in Belize for the cartels. And I'll leave it at that.
Commissioner Williams, is one of these operatives a cabinet minister, commonly referred to as the narco minister?
This is the reality of our country. The executions will continue. We are a narco state.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
threat. So with the execution last night, I am on the ground. I know what is happening. That was a direct result. That was an execution from the narco infiltration. We are a narco state.
It seems like Shine knows a little too much about narcos moving in Belize. His UDP General, Juliet Timbrell, has the same concerns. Maybe all of Belize should be concerned. Run your mouth now, Shine.
La formación del Centro Neurológico del Hospital Galenia es que esas enfermedades que son altamente complejas y que muchos de nuestros pacientes tenían que emigrar hacia otra parte de la República u otra parte de México ahora puedan ser atendidos aquí.
La atención quirúrgica en el centro neurológico se forma dentro de un grupo multidisciplinario que incluye tanto neurólogos, médicos internistas, ortopedistas, neurocirujanos pediatras. Y este esfuerzo que se ha realizado para conjuntar todos los especialistas es para siempre brindar al paciente un abordaje multidisciplinario y transversal.
Evidentemente, mientras más rápido podamos llegar al diagnóstico de los pacientes, más rápido podemos tratarlos, resolverlos y por ende mejor resultado vamos a tener al final. Entonces creo que la prioridad y el fundamento principal de un proyecto como este es justamente eso, que no se pierda tiempo de forma innecesaria para poder al final del día llegar al mejor de los resultados con un tratamiento completo, integral y oportuno.
Y las visiones desde diferentes perspectivas nos permiten tener pues el mejor tratamiento y la mejor opción para el paciente.
Tenemos la capacidad técnica, operativa, profesional y la infraestructura de poder establecer una atención neurológica de alta calidad.
If you look at international standards of road building, the number one choice is concrete because of longevity. The number two choice is hot mix, and the third choice is chip and seal. Concrete cannot always be used because it depends on where you're placing it, but it's the best option. What we do right now is we use concrete for like junctions where the roundabouts are. We use it where there's a major traffic to minimize the wear and tear. Internationally, chip and seal is not being used anymore for main arteries. We have learned this by studies that our engineers have gone international to do courses on it. Chip and seal is mostly used for secondary roads and rural roads. The longevity of a chip and seal compared to hot mix is nearly half. The ride quality is better with hot mix. The longevity is better with hot mix. And so we have decided that we want to join the rest of the world in having our highways at that standard. And it's a little bit different in cost, but we have been doing some analysis that we are balancing it. And what's happening is because the world is not using chip and seal at the rate that it used to before, even the asphalt that we are importing, the quality of the asphalt that they have to mix it specially for a chip and seal use. And because around the region and in the world they're not using it that much, it's limited that you're getting that mix. And so everybody is concentrating on the mix that goes into hot mix. The problem that we are facing is a problem that you face as you grow, in that the equipment in the country, not everybody had it. And so now we have informed contractors from the day we got in that is our intent. And we have seen that the major contractors that they are dealing with, one by one, they are getting in the equipment to be able to do the hot mix so that everybody has an equal opportunity to bid on these projects.
An immigration officer has been arrested for the crime of wounding after allegedly assaulting a woman at the western border. Allegations are that on Monday, a Belizean national was traveling through the western border when she began to feel frustrated at the pace the officers were processing her information. After voicing her discontent, Woodsall Lisby, The 48-year-old male clerk, who had yet to stamp her passport, allegedly approached a woman and shoved her, causing her to fall to the ground. Upon hitting her head, she became unconscious and was rushed to the hospital. On Tuesday, she filed a report against Lisby, and he was arrested today. On Tuesday, before Lisby's arrest, we spoke with CEO of Immigration, Tanya Santos, who told News 5 that Lisby was placed on administrative leave while the investigation transpired. Here's what she had to say.
So I got a report last night that there was an incident. It may have been an altercation between one of my officers, an immigration officer, and a member of the public who was seeking service there at the western border. I subsequently saw a post on social media about this incident and further inquired from the officer in charge about the situation, who then went to investigate. And later on, between last night and this morning, I was able to confirm that yes, indeed, there was an incident involving an immigration officer and a member of the public in which it appears that she was assaulted. And I say appears because that is yet to be determined.
Okay. So was a report filed against the officer, or has there been any reports of her instigating anything?
Not to my knowledge. I do not know that she has filed a report as yet. I do not think so, but that is a matter for the police. But I can let you know that we at the Ministry of Immigration have already placed that officer on administrative leave while we conduct our investigations further.
Was there anyone else involved in the incident?
No, I have seen footage of the incident itself, and apart from other members of the public who were there waiting for their turn to get service, there was no other officer, whether of be it from immigration or from border management agency or customs, who was physically present. But we do have, and we have seen video footage of the incident itself.
And have you received an update about the state of the woman?
I do know that she has been released from the hospital. I think it was in San Ignacio. I do know that she has an injury to her head. I don't know if it's been classified as harm or wounding or anything as yet, but an injury has been confirmed. I'd like to assure the Belizean public and the traveling public that this is not behavior that is tolerated by the Ministry of Immigration, and that we will take every step to ensure that we deal with this matter fully. And if anybody experiences any abuse or mistreatment by immigration officers or any other officers for that matter, to please feel free to get in touch with us at the office in Belmopan to look into these matters, because we need to ensure that our services are the best to our public.
Former party leader Patrick Faber has written to the chair of the United Democratic Party requesting a special meeting of the Central Executive Committee to address violations that were purportedly committed by party leader Shine Barrow. In his letter, the College area representative brings to the chairman's attention that several articles in the UDP's constitution were breached. Citing a legal paragraph in the Constitution, Faber puts forward that the National Campaign Manager is a member of the Central Executive Committee. Nonetheless, Barrow has wrongly stated that such is not the case, before proceeding to inform that an attempt has been made to replace Juliet Timbrell as the UDP's National Campaign Manager. Furthermore, Faber also says that the election of the chair and vice chair of a special committee for campaign was also not in accordance with the constitution of the party. Those positions are required to be elected by secret ballot, as well as by a majority vote of the Central Executive Committee. Faber writes, quote, "These actions have directly violated our party's constitutional guidelines and threaten the integrity and democratic principles of the UDP," unquote. In response, Chairman Mike Perifete has said that he will not convene a central executive meeting and that the only issue that matters at the moment is the upcoming by-election in Toledo East. He writes, quote, "I will not attempt to waste anybody's time who is serious about the success of this party and subject them to a CEC meeting where you and the party leader will get into a boxing match. Hell no. Do now what you must at this point, but I will not be a part of the clown show," end quote. The Social Security Board recently took a vote to designate 3 external directors to serve on the executive of a special purpose vehicle for the controversial public administration campus. The appointments, described as unilateral, have been strongly criticized by the National Trade Union Congress of Belize. In a statement issued by the umbrella organization earlier today, the NTUCB goes on to say, quote, "The proposed 5-member board composed solely of private sector members starkly contrasts a balanced private, public, and workers-formed construct. What is even most distasteful is the apparent view that the government of Belize handpicks all 5 members. Instead of adhering to recommendations and advice for a maintained tripartite structure as prescribed by the law, or similar equitable representation of investors' interests, the SSB has once again disappointed the workers and people of this country," end quote. The NTUCB calls on the Briceño administration to immediately ensure that the special purpose vehicle, which falls under the public-private partnership system, be managed by a tripartite structure. The government of Belize officially inaugurated the Ramute Road in the Corozal district. The road is also referred to as the Corozal Bypass. It serves several communities in rural Corozal. It is also as a shortcut to get to the Belize-Mexico border. Millions were invested in the construction of the road, as Prime Minister Briceño pointed out following today's ceremony. He also spoke on how this upgrade will serve the communities in the areas.
I think that for those of us that live here in the north, whatever we think about we used to refer to it as the Ramate Road, but also the Corozal Bypass. Think either during the dry season, during dust, or during the rainy season about mud. So many times we try to avoid using this road. But as what I pointed out earlier is that this is Plan Belize at work. That the foundation of Plan Belize is about people. How is it that we're going to make the lives of people better? And we're doing the Ramate Road and upgrading the Philip Gosson Highway is all about that. So at about $93 million that have been invested, of which we are grateful to the United Kingdom, who donated approximately around $37 million as a grant, and working with the CDB. And what is important to point out, when would you hear that the Ministry of Infrastructure Development, or as many people knew about works, would be building something for less than what was budgeted? And that's exactly what MIDH has done, that they had considerable savings that was used to continue to be able to work in other areas.
We will have more for you on the inauguration in Thursday's newscast. This week, dozens of stakeholders from across various organizations are gathering to participate in the multi-sector marine spatial planning workshop. This workshop is one of many carried out for the advancement of the Belize Sustainable Ocean Plan. The purpose of the workshop is to kickstart activities that for the delivery of commitments related to the Belize Blue Bond Agreement. Today's events covered what marine spatial planning is and possible areas for new biodiversity protection zones. News 5's Brittany Gordon reports.
Marine spatial planning refers to a process where stakeholders plan what activities will be restricted to certain areas of the ocean to ensure that the sea space is being used with conservation in mind. To meet the milestones outlined in the Belize Blue Bond Agreement, consideration for biodiversity reserves and sustainability must be kept in mind when making these decisions. That is why the multi-sector marine spatial planning workshop was held today in Belize City. Samir Rosado, MSP process lead at the Coastal Zone Management Authority and Institute, explained how these topics would be covered in today's workshop.
During the workshop, day one, of course, would be setting the stage for what spatial planning is, specifically what marine spatial planning is. So giving the definitions, the context, and really setting the stage for day two, which would be actually getting into the work. So we'll be looking at existing conditions. In order to plan for the future, we definitely need to understand what the demands for space are currently. We'll also be looking at compatibility between uses. So, within our ocean space, as we refer to it, there are a lot of different demands for related to various activities, fishing, tourism, so on and so forth. And so we need to see that spatially, where overlaps exist, if they are complementary or if they conflict. And really the purpose of day two and part of for this workshop is to really determine where those conflicts would be and to assess whether or not they can be sort of assessed and separated to avoid any sort of negative effects to the delivery of the activity.
Jamani Balderramos, a marine spatial planning specialist at the Nature Conservancy, told us that part of the workshop would be learning how to make use of a tool designed specifically for spatial planning. He said that the Marksan is publicly available on the internet and can be used by anyone with a graphic information system.
Marksan is actually a spatial planning tool, and it's to help achieve conservation goals and objectives. So it will look at the entire ocean space, and in Belize we're considering our internal waters, territorial seas, and exclusive economic zones. You can put in data such as ecosystems and human uses, and Marksan will look at how all these things are valued and try to minimize trade-offs. You can customize the program to help you to determine the best use of space to meet particular objectives. So if we want to look at the blue economy and we want to look at allocating space for tourism and so on, Marksan can then look at the trade-offs and help us to determine the best use of space.
A key component in the Belize Sustainable Ocean Plan is the Belize Blue Bond Agreement, which enables the country to reduce debt burden and increase long-term ocean conservation. Safira Vasquez of the Blue Bond and Finance Permanence Unit explained how this factors into today's discussions.
The Belize Blue Bonds have several milestones and several conservation milestones and commitments, and today's event is actually a part of us leading up to our milestone 4, which we should meet in this year, November 2024, which is the further designation of up to 25% of our ocean space in biodiversity protection zones. So today's event is basically they will be building upon some of the groundwork that has been done by the Coastal Zone Management Authority, which is the government lead agency for our marine spatial plan, which is known as the Belize Sustainable Ocean Plan. And so they'll be building up on some of the work that they have been conducting with our various ocean users.
Rosado said that allocating space within the ocean for varying uses such as fisheries, tourism, coastal development, and protection for ecosystems is a necessary step in conservation.
There's a lot of power in assigning space for activities because it takes away the instability of these activities and ensures that moving forward, these activities are sustainable over time. And so really the objective of marine spatial planning is to assign the space with a view to balance the multiple objectives that these activities may have. So there's environmental uses, there's social uses, recreational, and then there's economic uses. And the idea is to establish that balance to ensure that all of these objectives are satisfied through one process.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
After the break, GEG says former PM Barrow and others knew about the Portico agreement. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Design Depot, your all-in-one destination for transforming your living spaces.
Explore the world of GE with our selection of cutting-edge appliances for functional, convenient, and modern living. Find solutions for every paint project, from home to industrial, with our extensive selection of Sherwin-Williams paints and coatings. Safeguard your home with the durability of our weather-resistant windows and doors. Elevate your kitchen and bath with the timeless elegance of Kohler sinks and faucets. Transform your space with our constantly refreshed tile inventory, always embracing the latest tile trends. Design Depot, your source for innovation, inspiration, and impeccable design. Design Depot, all in one place.
Life is full of precious moments we're cherishing, moments that shape our present and lay the foundation for our future. But amidst life's beautiful tapestry, there are uncertainties we must confront. How do we secure today while protecting tomorrow? Introducing RF&G Life Insurance, your partner in safeguarding what matters most. With a RF&G Life Insurance plan, you can ensure financial security for your loved ones, providing them with a safety net for the future. From identifying and recommending plans suitable for your unique needs to expert advice every step of the way, RF&G Life Insurance is committed to protecting your family's legacy. Choose RF&G Life Insurance for peace of mind you can rely on. RF&G Life Insurance, securing today, protecting tomorrow. Your life, your legacy.
100 Media House Plaza Publica reported that much of the region's smuggled cigarettes, particularly ones from Asia, are coming out of Corozal and Benque-free zones. The report also says that these smuggling generates massive funding for organized crime.
Minister Mai, you are the minister responsible for the free zones. Everyone knows that cigarette smuggling through the free zone is a big racket. But now the rest of Central America is blaming Belize for funding and fueling organized crime. Minister Mai, you must face the nation. Tell us you are not aware that cigarette smuggling through the free zone is funding organized crime. Even your cabinet colleague, Minister Musa, admits that activity in the free zone is connected to the cartel.
When you look at the operations of the cartel operations in Quintana Roo, there are several different layers to that. All of these various trades, cross-border trades, would result in some sort of collaboration with local networks, and that is our responsibility to ensure that we are targeting these individuals locally who are or may be networked along with the cartels.
Minister Mai, will you allow this to go on? Will you wait until the government of the United States demands answers from the Prime Minister and sanctions Belize?
Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez, Brittany Gordon. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Hi, my name is Leah Mangar, and I am currently the Administrative Assistant at Yasche Conservation Trust here in beautiful Punta Gorda. I received the Social Security Board Scholarship in the year of 2021. After I was told that I was a successful recipient of this scholarship, I was very grateful. This scholarship has assisted me in various ways. Firstly, it relieved me of financial constraints. So that was the main obstacle that was keeping me back. But receiving this scholarship allowed me to gain the skills and the knowledge that I needed to attain the job that I currently have. I would just encourage you all to apply to the scholarship, and the process is very, very easy. You will find a link and it will direct you to everything that you need in order to submit your application. And once you submit it, pray and just hope for the best, because you just will never know if you can get it.
After a few postponements of the Senate's Special Select Committee's hearing, the inquiry resumed today at the National Assembly building in Belmopan. The morning session presided over questions posed by Sanjay Hochandani, a real estate businessman who said companies to which he is the director sold land to Portico Enterprises Limited. We'll share what Hochandani had to say later in the newscast. But the brow-raising statements came during the afternoon session when the developer of Port of Magical Belize, David Gegg, appeared before the panel. Flanked by his legal advisor, Andrew Bennett, Gegg opened up with a statement in which he said that despite his letter of March 26 to the committee in which he said he would not appear because he was of the view that the chair of the committee was biased, he said he has had a change of heart because he felt that it is time that the facts be shared with the Belizean people. Gegg said that the idea for Portico was conceptualized in 2017.
On launching Magical Belize in 2017, and after engaging with consultants in Miami and preparing a detailed business plan, I immediately engaged with the then Minister of State and Chair of the CSCI, Mrs. Tracy Panton. The first documented evidence was dated June 16th of 2017. Volumes of correspondence exist in that regard. In addition, there were several meetings with the CSCI in 2018, 2019, and in 2020, at which presentations were made that, among other things, justified our location over the others. These presentations and the supply of information generally were all prior to the signing of the definitive agreement. I also met with then Prime Minister Barrow, and it was he who instructed that an MOU be prepared and signed with the government of Belize. That meeting was arranged by then Senator Duncan, acting as a financial advisor, and was also attended by Mrs. Karen Bevans, the director of the BTB at that time. The meeting was held in the Whitfield Towers on Coney Drive, where the Prime Minister then had an office. The MOU, as we all know, was signed in September of 2017 by the then Minister of Trade, Economic Development, Petroleum and Investments, Mr. Erwin Contreras, and co-signed by Minister John Saldivar. The MOU was non-binding and states that it would be cancelled at any time by either party without consequence, period. There was never any discussion at any time about a cancellation of that MOU, but there were discussions in Cabinet on several occasions about the steps being carried out by Portico, according to Erwin Contreras, who I have no doubt will collaborate on this. With our environmental studies in high gear and with the necessary steps being taken to ultimately secure the rights to develop Magical Belize, a team of senior executives from Boscalis agreed to visit the country as a meeting had been arranged with then Prime Minister Barrow. That meeting took place on December 12th, 2019 at the Lang building near to the municipal airport as requested by the PM. At that meeting, also attended by Senator Duncan, letters, plural, were delivered to PM Barrow by a senior Boscalis representative. The primary letter was titled Cruise Terminal Magical Belize Equity Commitment Letter Proposal and was dated 3rd December 2019. That letter indicated that Boscalis was prepared to cover the full equity position of the financial requirements of the project. A second letter was also provided to Prime Minister Barrow, which featured a list of European bankers providing references for Boscalis. The NEAC meeting of August 28th had approved our environmental compliance. I could not believe it. I was over the moon. Please keep in mind that our draft definitive agreement had already been in circulation since June 1st to Ministers Panton and Perifit, as well as to Minister Contreras. My elation was short-lived a few days later when there was a suggestion that there may not have been a quorum at the meeting of August 28th. However, in that same meeting of the NEAC of August 28th, they had also approved the EIA for the building of the Sarteneja Road, and an environmental compliance plan was quickly prepared and signed. The local media had reported that partial funding for that project would come in the form of a $100 million deposit that was to be made to a private New York account. In early September of 2020, and wanting to ensure that the government representatives understood the financial commitment which Boscalis had provided, freshly dated letters to PM Barrow with copies to Tracy Panton and Erwin Contreras were delivered to the offices of those persons at their Belmopan locations. I personally delivered those letters. The letters, two different letters, once again contained the equity commitment by Boscalis and the references from their European bankers. Those letters were dated September 2nd, 2020, and I delivered them on or about September 4th in Belmopan. Having not heard from NEAC as regard the approval, nor from Minister Panton or anyone else in the progress of the definitive agreement, I reached out to Minister Contreras for some guidance on how to proceed. He indicated that he needed to review the situation before he could commit to the DA, as he foresaw the environmental clearance being an issue. I immediately pointed out to him that the definitive agreement for Harvest Key had been signed prior to their receiving environmental clearance. Minister Contreras said that he would seek advice and get back to me.
Gegg said he instructed his attorney, David Morales, to draft up a letter to former PM Dean Barrow and copied to them Ministers Erwin Contreras, Michael Perifit, and Tracy Tager-Panton. When Senator Bevington Cowell probed Gegg on the role that former Minister of Economic Development, Erwin Contreras, signing the document definitive agreement and the authority he had to do so without further approval, Gegg said he didn't think Contreras needed any, but he said key persons in the previous government, including the former Prime Minister, knew about it.
I know you said that, just to track back a bit, that Prime Minister Barrow, Honorable Panton, Erwin Contreras, all of these persons knew about this project that was coming up to the signing of the MOU.
Well, that was really the first thing that happened, and they knew about it because so many other things happened after the MOU. The MOU was September of 2017.
Right.
And that kind of paved the way for everything else that happened after that. And Bishop Begnishe, by the way, the studies that you might like seeing are all online with the Department of the Environment, but I would be happy to send copies directly to you if I had the means to do so.
I'm looking at the signatories to the MOU. I see, and we're yet to verify these, but I'm sure that, or maybe I should ask the questions. Who were the signatories to the MOU?
Well, the ones that I remember were myself, of course, Mr. Contreras, and Minister Saldiva.
Mr. Saldiva. And why did Honorable Panton not sign? Because she was the...
Senator, it was my understanding, it is my understanding, that Minister Panton did not approve of the government signing an MOU with us, and she refused to sign it.
We've heard the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, talk about his interest in entering the political arena, though he has not made any official announcements. Recent verbal exchanges between himself and the leader of the opposition, playing out in the media, have had many questioning whether Williams is gunning for the Mesopotamia seat. As a Belizean, if Williams wants to run for office, there's nothing that would prevent him from doing so. But hypothetically, under what political banner would he run? Today, we asked the Prime Minister if the PUP would be open to welcoming Williams into the fold. Here is what he told us.
I don't know here making a big deal about it. He has not certainly he has not spoken with me about that. But like any Belizeans like yourselves, you know, if you want to put your name, you can. Jules Vasquez has have all the answers to all the problems. He should put his name on the ballot. You know, I mean, everybody should have the right to put their name. I mean, as long as they believe that they can go in to be productive legislators, productive politicians that want to be able to address the problems that we are facing in this country.
How would you feel like about a man like the Commissioner being a part of the party?
Well, I think that he has a lot of competency. He has shown that he is about public service. He has been a police officer for several decades and highly qualified. And I think he's liked and respected by most everyone, except the leader of the opposition. And I wonder why.
And while the Portico developer said that at least 3 past cabinet ministers knew about the Portico project, he was also solicited for campaign financing in exchange for environmental clearance for the project, but he did not reveal the name of the person. And when he did not provide the funds, his project did not receive the clearance prior to the elections.
Around the middle of September, after the August 28 NEAC meeting, which supposedly approved our environmental clearance, I received a message, and I interpreted that message as saying to me that the environmental documentation approved on August 28th would not be concluded in the absence of a significant campaign contribution.
That was mid-September of 2020.
Correct.
By whom?
I can't say.
What was the amount asked for?
7 figures.
Can you state the number, the figure?
7 figures.
And that I would anticipate was members of the then government, the then UDP government.
Well, they were the only ones in a position to conclude the ECP. Let me say, also, after that, there was another meeting of the NEAC called on October 15th. My analysis, by then they knew nothing was in the pipeline, and they were hoping for something smaller. And they didn't get that either. And the fact that that administration did not conclude our environmental clearance should put that issue to rest.
Up next, BTB Beautification Project battles theft and vandalism.
warring cartels, narco activity cartels. Every zone doesn't have narco activity occurring. The Compo acknowledge that there are operatives in the country.
We know that we do have operatives in Belize who are on the side of the cartels. We know that.
Tell you that high officials in the People's United Party are responsible for the narco infiltration in the north.
Is to make sure that we target those persons who we believe are operating in Belize for the cartels. And I'll leave it at that.
Commissioner Williams, is one of these operatives a cabinet minister, commonly referred to as the narco minister?
This is the reality of our country. The executions will continue. We are a narco state.
We all know about the phasing out of single-use plastics and the enactment of pollution from the plastics regulations. One of the key components in this regulation states that for an item to be considered biodegradable, it must consist of more than 50% of bio-based content. Here, you will find out how the Department of the Environment determines what items meet the criteria and what equipment is being used to guide that process.
Since 2019, the Department of the Environment has been working with CIFAS in doing microplastics. Through this project, CIFAS has donated 2 microscope Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy equipment to strengthen capacities on monitoring and enforcement to reduce marine litter and plastic pollution. The FTIR can be used to identify unknown materials. The Department of the Environment will use the equipment to determine the composition of single-use plastics and biodegradable products to enforce the environmental protection, pollution from plastics regulations.
While we have a long way to go with the implementation of the pollution from plastics regulation, having this equipment is one step closer. For more information on what's being done about biodegradables and ways you can help, visit our website at www.doe.gov.bz.
For 19 years, SMART has been the pulse of our nation. A journey of growth, innovation, resilience, and unity.
From the first call that bridged distances to the data that brought us closer than ever, SMART has been there, weaving threads of connection across our beautiful land.
We have been active in providing innovative solutions to enhance our customers' lifestyles. Over the years, SMART has developed and provided various services to meet customers' needs.
To the dreamers, doers, and the believers, thank you for making SMART a part of your story. For 19 years of trust, loyalty, partnership, and shared experiences.
As we celebrate 19 years of connecting lives and dreams, let's keep the rhythm alive. Together, let's continue to shape our future one connection at a time.
Come and be a part of the SMART family, where we empower you and our country today, tomorrow, and beyond.
SMART, bringing people together.
Last year, around this same time, when the country was hit by an energy crisis, Briceño admitted he and his government knew well in advance it was coming.
This problem did not arise now. This was coming from before. And whenever I speak with the CEO of BL, he was telling me, I have been alerting from before that this problem is coming.
Yet they did nothing to avert it and ensure that BEL has secure, adequate and reliable sources of power.
So CFE, Comisión de Electricidad Federal, said to us, to BL, and said, one, said, listen, if this thing continues, we are going to be short. And so we may have to consider cutting you for a short while.
1 year later, the same energy crisis is back again, and they still have not done anything to address it. Back then, Briceño even conceded the energy crisis resulted from the lack of vision and foresight by his own government.
The problem, again, is a lack of vision and foresight from the side of the government, in the sense that the government, a long time ago, should have stepped in, because we know that there's this feud between BL and PUC.
Nothing has changed, and with this government, nothing ever will.
Discover a shopping experience like no other at the V Department Store. They carry a vast array of products at unbeatable prices. Elevate your shopping journey with affordability, diversity, and accessibility at the V. Conveniently located at 1745 Coney Drive in Belize City.
This May, things are going to be amazing at Benny's. Find great gifts for moms such as Pyrex Bakeware, Chicago Cutlery Knife Sets, Corningware, Snapware, Corel Dinnerware, and much more at amazing prices. Also check out our impressive line of Sankey appliances and other household items. Take advantage of these amazing deals and discounts all May long, only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
100 Media House Plaza Publica reported that much of the region's smuggled cigarettes, particularly ones from Asia, are coming out of Corozal and Benque free zones. The report also says that these smuggling generates massive funding for organized crime.
Minister Mai, you are the minister responsible for the free zones. Everyone knows that cigarette smuggling through the free zone is a big racket. But now the rest of Central America is blaming Belize for funding and fueling organized crime. Minister Mai, you must face the nation. Tell us you are not aware that cigarette smuggling through the free zone is funding organized crime. Even your cabinet colleague, Minister Musa, admits that activity in the free zone is connected to the cartel.
When you look at the operations of the cartel operations in Quintana Roo, there are several different layers to that. All of these various trades, cross-border trades, would result in some sort of collaboration with local networks, and that is our responsibility to ensure that we are targeting these individuals locally who are or may be networked along with the cartels.
Minister Mai, will you allow this to go on? Will you wait until the government of the United States demands answers from the Prime Minister and sanctions Belize?
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMAL. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
Since September of 2022, the Belize Tourism Board has undertaken the task of making Belize City a beautiful municipality. The beautification project involves planting greenery throughout the city and creating spaces that are attractive for residents to socialize in. While it was estimated that the project would be nearing completion by now, there have been an overwhelming number of setbacks for the team, mainly theft and vandalism. News 5's Brittany Gordon spoke with Elena Usher, one of the lead consultants on the project, for more details on the situation.
The Belize Tourism Board's City Beautification Project is in dire need of an intervention. For nearly 2 years, a team has been diligently planting greenery across the city to cool the atmosphere and create a more pleasing aesthetic. However, the team has been discouraged and angered by people stealing and destroying the plants. Elena Usher, one of the 2 lead consultants on the project, aired her grievances with us.
When we started, everything was going very well. And then the hurricane came, which was the first hurdle, but that is natural, so that was not a problem. After that, we started to have people stealing the plants. I mean, tremendous amounts of plants have been stolen. And it has been frustrating because to have to replace all of these plants, we cannot see the progress that we should have been seeing at this time of the project. If it's not the stealing of the plants, people just vandalize them. People just root them out, leave them there. Or school children, high school children, just walk and just tear out the plants from where they are, or they just destroy them. That is one of the most frustrating thing is the theft of the plants. The job is not a problem. It's just the people that don't appreciate what it is that BTB is trying to do for the city, you know. Besides the aesthetics of it being very nice, I mean, it will cool down the city. It will create new environments, beautiful areas to sit, to walk, to be able to just move around the city and be in a very nice atmosphere.
Usher said that the team had plans to finish in about 2.5 years, but due to the hurdles, they have been pushed extremely behind schedule. She explained that some of the smaller plants range between $10 to $15, while large plants can cost $500 or above.
We wanted to do basically palms and big trees to make it really shady and cool in the city, but that could not happen. And then underneath all of this, we wanted to do ground covers that would eliminate the Belize City Council having to send their people out there to do cutting and weeding, and so we wanted to do beautiful ground covers and have the over big trees to cover the area to make it cool. The smaller plants are what people are just stealing. It's easier for them to just pass and root it up or drive by in a car and just take amounts that they want.
Usher explained that the team has been working on some areas since it was launched, and although there have been setbacks, she anticipates that the BTB will expand it to other areas upon completion.
We are still working on the Central American Boulevard. That's the first area we started. We have redone Constitution Park, and we have also done the Mahogany Street project, Marketplace. We are now working on the Memorial Park. And then we have the other areas like the Albert and Regent Street, which is the next project we're going to do, Princess Margaret Drive, the Newtown Barrack area, Marine Parade, and Cemetery Road.
She said that there has been attempts to hinder acts of theft and vandalism, but it remains difficult to prevent them entirely. The BTB taking any precautions to prevent people from stealing or vandalizing?
Yes, for example, in the Constitution Park, when that park was being redone, they stole the windows, the doors, the plants, they destroyed. What has happened is the cameras have been placed in these areas and burglar bars have been put on the building. The wire fence have also been put in because people were also using the park as a bathroom. So these are some of the things that have been done, you know. Other than that, it's hard.
Despite the challenges, Usher says she is determined to see the project completed and hopes that Belizeans can enjoy the benefits of the endeavor.
At the end of this project, I would like to see the city very green. I would like to see great green spaces, parks that can be very healthy and soothing for all of us, that would be enjoyable for everybody to come and sit, to have a good time, to just relax. And the cooling of the city, to make it so green that when you're walking or driving, there's not that tremendous air of heat just surrounding you, know. With the greenery, it should make it feel a lot cooler. That's my main goal.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.